Welcome to our conversation on food insecurity. We're really excited to have our special guest here today to speak to the dire need that's occurring right here in our community. So I'm Kate Baer, the Executive Director with United Way of Sheboygan County. I am just here to introduce today. If you are feeling extra brave and you want to show your face on the camera, go for it. Thank you to those of you that are. If not, because you're eating lunch and you don't want to be eating on the camera, that's okay too. We understand we're all busy. Just a couple ground rules. If you're not on the panel, please mute your microphone. Type any questions you have in the chat. So if time allows, we're going to respond to them at the end. It's easier to kind of go through and figure that out at the end of the presentation or the panel discussion, really. I wanted to share one little fact. Did you know on any given day, about 11,000 people in Sheboygan County may struggle with hunger? So that's quite an astronomical number when we think big picture. And we have a lot of great resources and folks here and agencies doing good work to address hunger needs in our community. So again, when we think of these families, they could be children, people living with disabilities, veterans, elderly, working families, students, our neighbors. We know that 1 in 3 people in Sheboygan County live below the ALICE threshold. So that is asset limited, income constrained, employed. It's a group of folks that are living just above the federal poverty guidelines, but still not making living wages, still struggling. And food security is one of the biggest challenges for ALICE households, not to mention all the folks below the federal poverty guideline. A little bit about our panel quickly as we jump right in. Liz Kroll is the food bank director. Give us a wave, Liz. Oh, your name's right there. She's at Sheboygan County Food Bank. She was recruited as the first official Sheboygan County Food Bank employee in 2012. I remember that well. Over the past 8 years, Liz has been instrumental in connecting with dedicated volunteers, organizations, and businesses in the community, developing the foundation for a robust emergency food network to efficiently serve healthy food to individuals, families, and children throughout Sheboygan County. Liz enjoys spending time out in nature at her cabin with her 4 grandchildren. Super excited to have her be here today, and she'll be able to give you lots of insight into the good work the food bank is doing. Also, we have here Allison Thompson.
Hello.
Yay. So Allison is the executive director at Fresh Meals on Wheels of Sheboygan County, where she has worked for more than 7 years. Allison has lived in New York, Atlanta, Columbus, and has a background in journalism and public relations. All fun facts I did not know. She is involved in our community via Altrusa and Professional Women's Connection. She volunteers for various animal rescue groups, church, and other organizations. And I know she loves spending time with her growing children. Then last on our panel, we have Meredith Nitka. She is the school nutrition coordinator of the Sheboygan Area School District. She oversees all meal programs for the district, including breakfast, lunch, after-school snack, supper, and summer programs. Right there alone, doing amazing things. She has worked in school nutrition for over 8 years and is also a registered dietitian. Besides healthy eating, Meredith enjoys running, being physically active, and spending time with her husband and 3 cats. Love that. So last but not least, and then I will let Gina Cavalli take it away. So Gina is our Director of Community Impact. She is the moderator today. She has been involved with United Way Sheboygan County since moving to Sheboygan way back in January of 2014. So in her role, she facilitates the investment process by guiding the Community Action Team, which really works with our Community Action Fund. And she serves as the staff liaison and resource for the 22 partner agencies of United Way Sheboygan County. She has expertise in collective impact and also directs United Way Sheboygan County's 3 community impact initiatives. And she's also kind of the touch point person for our volunteer center network, even more nonprofits, right? So very busy lady. So Gina, I will let you take it away and moderate.
All right. Thank you so much, Kate. And thank you to our panelists for being here today and all of you for joining us for the conversation. We're going to get started with just a brief description. I'm going to ask each panelist for a brief description of your programs that you provide to the community, and then what changes or increases you have seen in the last year regarding the need in the community. And if you want to touch on COVID right now, that's fine. Otherwise, we can do a secondary question on COVID. But Liz, why don't you get us started talking about the food bank, what you do at the food bank, and then what changes you've seen in the last year.
Okay, thank you so much, Gina. So basically the food bank is not a food pantry. We serve all the food pantries in Sheboygan County, along with the shelters, low-income housing sites, schools now, and other organizations. So we are just opening up to anybody that serves low income right now and trying to help them feed our neighbors. Okay, so all of our programs have continued through Corona, so that we're really excited about that, because we have like the Stock Box program where we feed elderly. We have Food for Thought where we serve kids. We did that all summer also. So we've been really focused on how can we get food to people as quickly as possible. We have got additional warehouse space, additional staff, and we've even had a ton of volunteers come in that were not, they wanted to do something else. They couldn't stay home any longer. So we partnered with Love Inc. this year to deliver to the homebound, as well as Meals on Wheels did a little of that for us. And what else do we do? Well, we launched a new food pantry out at Glacier Transit. It's called the Sheboygan Cares Food Pantry. So that's the main things that we're up to right now.
Thank you. Meredith, could you maybe talk a little bit about some of the school meal programs that you manage, and then the changes or increases you've seen in the last year?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. So the Sheboygan Area School District, we consist of 25 schools. So currently at all 25 schools, meals are free for students. So we offer breakfast program, we offer lunch, and then we also have after-school snack and supper programs in some of our buildings, not at every site, but at quite a few of them. As some of you may have been aware, the district made the decision to close our schools starting next week for 2 weeks due to the COVID situation. However, the point I really want to get across is that even if we're shut down, we continue to feed. So what we're going to do is we're transitioning into 12 locations, 12 different school buildings, and anyone is welcome to come and pick up meals. It doesn't matter if parents pick up. The meals are intended for children 18 years and younger. But again, a neighbor could go and pick up for their daughter, neighborhood friends. So that's the word that we really want to get out, that no matter what we're doing this year, it's all free. There was legislation that was recently passed, and it just went through over the weekend, that is allowing us to offer free meals to children through June 30th. So we were really, really excited that the legislators were able to pass that through. And so now we just need to get the word out to our community that people need to take advantage of these free meals. It helps our school district, it helps our community tremendously if people take advantage of them. And then one of the things you had asked you about was increases that I've seen. So in the summer of 2019, over the summer months, we served roughly 30,000 meals. This past summer of 2020, we served over 130,000 meals. So right there alone, that was a huge increase for us over the summer. So the need is definitely there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Allison, do you want to chime in?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So Meals on Wheels, we've been around, we're celebrating 50 years, and our mission is to provide the nourishing meals and wellness checks for those who cannot obtain or prepare nutritional meals on their own, regardless of age, race, income, etc. Though the majority of the people that we feed are below the ALICE threshold, for sure, and many fall under poverty guidelines. So but we're here to feed people. So whether it's something temporary, like you have COVID and you're home and you're stuck and you can't go anywhere, so we need to deliver meals to you for 2 weeks, or if it is because you have knee surgery or some other accident or something happened, we can provide meals temporarily, or we can do it more for a long term. If somebody has MS or cancer, or if someone's elderly and they can't get out of the house, they have Parkinson's, they can't be cooking at the stove, we're here to help. We're here to deliver the meals. Things have changed, of course, as everybody's has during COVID, and we are still feeding everyone fresh meals. However, what we're doing is bulk delivery. We converted to as contactless as possible deliveries, and instead instilled, I should say, some caring callers. So we have our volunteers making phone calls to our clients, checking on them. So we're still making sure all is well at home, trying to reduce some of the isolation that is out there, and making sure things are well. And we're still making our meals here fresh at Meals on Wheels. The majority of those that we serve are over the age of 75, and again, are low income, and they suffer from malnutrition and isolation.
So we may be dealing with the impact of COVID-19 for a long time yet. As we know that, things just are changing day to day still because of it. And if you are looking at your services and the need continually to grow, how do you anticipate your response to COVID changing as in the coming months as we continue to deal with this? And I'm going to start with Liz, if you want to take that one.
Sure. So in my opinion, that we're going to be needed even more in the future. I kind of didn't go over the increases that we've had, but we've served as many as 9,465 families served within a month, which usually we average about 1,000 per month. So that's incredible. So I'm assuming that this is just going to keep on going up. And when you talk about the Alice threshold too, it's like the people that would typically maybe be off of food share or food food pantries, things like that, they will not be. That's what I anticipate, because they're paying their rent, they're paying their utility bills, their medical bills, all that. So we just really want to be in the community there for them. The problem is we've used more food this year than we have in 3 years. We've purchased more food. We don't have food drives. The whole time this was going on, we didn't have food drives. So now we're reinstituting the food drive model, because we just can't continue to pay for all this food. But yeah, I think that we're just going to have to be caring for our community even more in the future. Unfortunately, we're hearing that people are getting laid off now, and things like businesses might be closing. And so I think this is imperative time that we all bond together and see how we can meet all those needs. And just going to the Sheboygan Area School District, that is huge for many, many of these families. And we all had a party, a dance party for 5 minutes when Meredith sent that email yesterday, because that really does affect us also, because the parents aren't having to, try to get food for the whole day. So that's really cool.
Okay, Meredith, what do you see in the coming months changing? And I know when we first met maybe a week ago to talk about this, that legislation wasn't passed. So it was kind of an iffy situation. So I'm really glad to hear that passed. But in the coming months, what are you seeing as potential changes in the need?
I agree with Liz. It's just going to continue to grow, especially now with parents having kids home doing the virtual learning. I know that affects families differently. Maybe someone has to stay at home with the child versus going to work. I just really see that this is going to increase tremendously. But at the school district, we're going to continue, again, to be out there and to feed and to respond in any way that we need to. No matter what it is, we want to be there for families.
And Allison, how about you at Meals on Wheels?
So about a month ago, we had big plans, and our hope was starting in November, we would return to daily delivery. So we've been doing bulk meal delivery to be safer, delivering 3 days a week. And because the numbers are spiking, we are pivoting once again, and we're putting a pause on that. We're not going to do daily delivery. Instead, we're going to continue our Monday, Wednesday, Friday deliveries, and keep doing one hot meal, and then the rest are frozen, delivered at the same time, because we need to keep everyone safe. So that's been a big priority for us. For those that don't know, we actually have our own fleet now of vehicles. So with the United Way's help and Kohler Company's help and Sheboygan Chevrolet and Van Horns, we've been able to acquire some vans that we've been delivering our meals in. And those are sanitized multiple times a day, making sure they're clean. Our volunteers come in, they clean up, and they go and use the vehicles that are already filled with the meals. They go out and deliver them, making phone calls along the way saying, hey, we're going to be there, leaving it on your porch, make sure you can grab it, or putting it on a table so that it's elevated and that it can be brought inside safely. We are going to continue doing that now. We're not sure how much longer, but it'll obviously be a few more months as we go through this pandemic. We have seen an increase in the number of people that we're feeding, and it's varied. It's all the time. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of changes, in our community, and there's been a lot of deaths, and there's been a lot of people kind of moving and families helping each other out. So our numbers have been all over the place, but we're feeding at least 300 people a week. And our expenses have, as many of us have gone through the roof. Our food costs have gone up over 40% compared to last year. And like all of us here, we're all trying to feed people that need to be fed. And our seniors, just like our children, need to be taken care of and need to be looked out for. And they need the healthy foods, and they're most at risk for COVID, which is detrimental. We have to be so careful, and we just really need to make sure those meals are getting delivered. And we ask the community to report people to us that need food. We are here to feed people. We will not turn anyone down, and we want to help.
Yeah, thank you so much. I do want to ask a question. What are, from your experience and observations, some of the barriers that people have as far as accessing the food programs that you offer? Is it that, a lack of knowledge, maybe, that they don't know that the program exists? Is it other types of barriers? Liz, maybe you could take that one first.
Sure. So the first barrier, I think, is a lot of people that weren't homebound before became homebound. Whether they were, having to stay in for 14 days or whatever the need was. But with that drive-through pantry that we established out at Glacier, we were able to have other people pick up for their neighbors in need, which was huge. I mean, some people were doing it for their whole apartment building, that they really needed this produce, and it just was an amazing thing. One of the other barriers that we have all the time right now is the volunteers. Most of our volunteers, their average age is 77 years old, and they are, at high risk. So we just don't want the food pantries to close, but that is one of the areas where we just step in and kind of take over their food pantry for the time being, because they just don't have the volunteers to do that. And then our other safe collection of food was a barrier that we established too. It's like, well, how do we collect this food and know that we're going to be safe? We don't know where it came from. We don't know, we didn't know how long to leave it sit, things like that. So we're really trying to work with that and doing it the best and safe way possible, that we can get them food that's not contaminated or have, germs on them. So, and just the safe practices. We gave all of our food pantries, PPE things. So they had the cleaners and they had the masks and the gloves, and because a lot of those pantries didn't have that available to them. So, I mean, that's a whole barrier thing, not just the clients that we're serving, but I just think it all kind of goes together. And I think we kind of, those are barriers that we're going to have to be dealing with, but I think we figured them out pretty well. And especially with United Way, 50-gallon drum of hand sanitizer, we'll never run out of that.
Yeah. Meredith, how about you with the school district? Are there barriers that are hard for kids to access the meals?
Absolutely. One of the reasons why, we're opening our grab and go pickup sites, we're hoping that we can get people to come up and pick up for others, that are around in their neighborhood or communities. But I'm sure that, the pickup time and locations, it's not always ideal for everyone. But one thing that we were trying to do is spread out our locations throughout the city. So with our 12 locations, we're trying to cover as many neighborhoods as possible. Like for example, when we first did this, Cleveland wasn't one of the locations opened, and there was a lot of concern about reaching those families. So now we added that as one of our sites in the upcoming weeks. But that's definitely a challenge. And then other barriers that we kind of go through is with our own staffing, because anytime someone is sick, they need to remove themselves, get a COVID test. It takes a while. So for us, like, we have to be cautious and make sure that we have enough people to, work the sites and serve the children. And then a final barrier that we have been experiencing is actually food availability. We've had some issues, with our food vendors trying to get the food that we need. And it's because actually factories have shut down or cut different lines, due to the COVID. So they're not producing foods as quickly as we need them. So that has been something quite interesting that we've been working through, but really it just comes down to us having to sub out different things on our menu.
Thank you. Allison, how about you at Meals on Wheels? What barriers do folks have as far as accessing the meals that you provide?
There's definitely not a barrier when it comes to giving us a phone call and making sure that we can set someone up. There's different ways of paying for meals, whether it's through, we accept food stamps, you can do credit cards, cash. However, there's also organizations like the ADRC, the Cancer Care Fund, and many other organizations out there that can help cover the costs of funding. So I think probably our biggest barrier is that people think that it's for somebody else. They think, oh, well, I'll save that food for someone else. There's no food to save. We have food, we can feed you. It doesn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are. We're here to help people that need food. And I think Sheboygan County has people that are hard workers and are really proud and don't like asking for help. And I think that's the thing, as neighbors, we need to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on your neighbor next door. Are they not mowing anymore? Are they not picking up their paper? Are they having a hard time? Maybe they could benefit from getting help with food. And we need to look out for each other, because we do live in a prideful community, and help each other and offer to help. Pick up the phone and call for them. We can make that call and ask them if they could use food. You can gift the food. You can pick it up for them, as I said, at the food pantry or the food bank. You can pay for meals ahead for your neighbor, and we can deliver them, and they're already paid for. It's not an option, it's not a worry then for them. So there's ways to go through those barriers. We just need to do it as a community.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And speaking of that community and working together to kind of meet the needs of the people, how are you and your organization able to collaborate either with each other or with other organizations to ensure that people have access to food? And Liz, I'm going to ask you to start.
Okay, thanks. So first of all, I think the most important was partnering with the Schwagen Area School District right when when it all kind of happened in March. They were doing their meals, and we could provide an emergency box for all the parents that came, that if they needed it, just a couple of meals in the box, hygiene items, things that people really just needed. We just felt like we just needed to get it out there to whoever we could. So that was a great partnership. Some schools it was really well received, some schools not as much, and that's okay. We also did the backpack program there on Fridays. And we didn't do all the intake that we usually do with that. We just kind of, if you need a backpack for your child, just take one. It was just such a weird time, when nobody knew what to do. We just wanted to make sure that nobody was hungry in the county, in Sheboygan County. So that was good. Meals on Wheels and Sheboygan Area School District and us, we're all on an anti-hunger coalition. And I wish we would have started it just a little earlier and got Allison on board and things like that, because I think it really could have benefited us more in March. But I think it was cool that we all knew each other. We were all there. We knew that we could, count on each other to help out. And of course, Meals on Wheels has been delivering some of our produce boxes to people in need also. So those are the collaborations. We also collaborated with Love Inc. to deliver to Homebound because we just can't do that. And again, we found so many people just couldn't get out to get the food that was needed. So Love Inc. delivered a lot of food to the Homebound too. So it was a cool collaboration.
Yeah. Meredith, how about you with the school district, and any collaborations or with community organizations that helped you get food out?
The biggest thing, as Liz had already mentioned, is that Anti-Hunger Coalition group that we're on. That has been so beneficial to be able to network and see what things are going on. And then another thing that has been instrumental for us is, for example, the food bank. They're able to share where we're serving our meals on their own social media and marketing, because I feel like that has honestly been a huge struggle for us, is getting the word out in enough spots. So having that committee to be able to take information and share it with the community has been so critical and helpful for us.
Yeah, thank you. Allison, how about you at Meals on Wheels?
In addition to what's been mentioned already, we worked with the SCIO and we were able to get food vouchers out to some of our seniors so that so that extra fresh produce can be delivered that they can munch on. And I had the privilege of delivering some of that to one of our clients recently, and he was beyond thrilled and couldn't wait to eat the carrots and the vegetables that were in there. He's like, every bit of it's going to be eaten, don't worry. So he was very excited about that. So that was kind of fun to be able to go out and deliver that and to see it in action. And then again, as a community, we're all trying to help each other out, which says a lot about Sheboygan County, but helping each other so that we can handle what's coming up ahead. I know all of us have that worry, and here at Meals on Wheels, we are aggressively putting together plans to help with how our homebound neighbors are going to be able to combat the depression and isolation that we know is coming greater than it normally is with our population because of everything going on right now. So we're starting to put together a nice wraparound care program to help bring some joy, hopefully, to others as well as to our clients.
Great. So looking at our community and thinking how can others in the community support your efforts, support this initiative to let's feed the people who need food? How can they get involved with your organization and your efforts? Liz, I'm going to start with you.
Okay, so I just wanted to do a little post for the United Way also, because you guys have heard me say this would have not happened 3 years ago or whatever. So you have pulled, I think, us together more as a community. So kudos to that. So as far as us, we need money. we need cash donations to buy more food. That's, I'm speaking to the choir here, I know, but that's the safest, easiest way. The other thing is to attend Making Spirits Bright. That starts the day after Thanksgiving and until the 31st, and donate food there. So those are the two main ways. As far as getting the word out, just keep telling people there is hope, there is help. And, give us a call here if they can't find a food pantry that is suitable for them or in their neighborhood, and we will certainly help them out.
Thank you. Meredith, how about you? How can folks support your efforts at the school district?
For us, it's just getting the word out, and to know that no matter if we're in school virtually or if we're actually at school, no matter what happens this school year, we're going to have free meals available at certain grab-and-go locations. And just check our Facebook and our website for information. It'll have the latest up-to-date info on what sites and locations we're currently at. And just let people know, there's no shame in this. It's any child 18 or younger that's welcome to the meals. Another thing that we're doing is on Fridays, we'll be giving out meals for the weekend. So in their bag, they'll have 3 breakfasts and 3 lunches for the weekend. And again, it's just, you get out there. That's all really that we are asking for your help.
Okay, great. Allison?
So we have a whole list I'm super excited to talk about because, as I said, we've put together this wraparound care program, and we're working with International Subaru to stuff the trunk. So as part of the Share the Love program that'll be kicked off in November, we're kicking it off a little early, and we're asking members of the community to donate activities and to donate items that can be added into packages that we're going to deliver to our clients. So we're looking for things like activity books and puzzles, non-skid fuzzy socks, mittens, Sudoku books, adult activity books, things that are just fun packages that we can then deliver periodically throughout the winter months. We're also going to be doing a special St. Nick delivery. So traditionally, we always deliver cookies to our clients in December as cookies that are made by the community. And unfortunately, because of COVID, we cannot deliver those cookies. So we're going to do a special St. Nick delivery. We would love it if there's people out there that want to dress up as Santa or elves and help us deliver these packages. We are looking for people that might want to run around and do that. If you prefer to stay at home and don't want to risk any contact, we have caring callers. We definitely need more people to make those phone calls to check on our clients, calling 2 or 3 people a week, same people you'll call them every week or a few times a week and just say hi. You're building new relationships. You can ask them, we'll let you know when some activity bags go out. You can talk to them about that. We have found that there's been some great relationships built that way. Meal drivers, again, we are delivering Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so we could use drivers. The routes are about 1.5 hours long right now, and involve making some phone calls along the way, saying that you're on the way to deliver, driving in our vehicle, so you're not using your own gas, which leads me to say we could use some gas cards. Quick trip gas cards would be great. That's an easy way to send them in the mail or drop them off when we're open, and we can use that to pay for the gas for delivering the meals. And as all of us, cash donations or checks are always appreciated so that we can continue the mission that we're doing and serving people the healthy food and making sure they're getting their dietary needs met.
Great. Thank you so much. So that wraps up the questions that we had planned. So I need to go through the chat to see if we have any questions in there.
Gina, if you want, if it's easier, I can read on through. Or do you guys have it? I know you're...
There is a question. Yep. If there are any, if school district or Liz, are you looking for any additional pickup sites? So a place where you could have those meals picked up?
At the school district right now, we just want to go with the 12 sites, to see how it goes first, but potentially expanding depending how it goes.
Okay. And those 12 sites were listed in the chat. We did put that link in there. So if you didn't see that, that link is available. And then there was a question for the most needed items for the food bank, but that link, Lauren was able to put that in there for us. So that got answered. So there were no other questions in the chat. I guess, are there any questions right now?
I thought this would also, something that came to my mind because we mentioned it, was the volunteer aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so just again, to encourage folks in our community that they can visit our volunteer center website. A lot of times a number of these organizations that we work so closely with will list all of these great opportunities and wish list items. So we have 2 things going on through our volunteer center website. One is a wish list items that agencies put things they need, such as we mentioned today, gas cards, food. Liz is wishing for cash, right? And so I get that because we are too. And and volunteers, for those folks, again, these are essential workers. There is kudos to the individuals who continued to, in a safe way, following all CDC guidelines. All of these organizations take their safety for their volunteers incredibly, they take it incredibly caring. There's another word I'm thinking of, but it's not.
Take it very seriously.
Seriously, yes, thank you. They care, and that's why they take it incredibly seriously. So be sure to visit that. I think Caitlin might have threw that in the chat.
Yes, there is wish list items on the volunteer center, just got thrown in there. And then there was a question for the needed items for Meals on Wheels. Allison, is that listed on the volunteer center website?
There is a list on the Volunteer Center website, and we are updating everything, and we're going to be posting it. It'll be on the front page of our website here within the next 24 hours. And then, like we said, and we have, our new thing. We're so excited. We did a shopping list on Amazon. So you can actually go to Amazon, and that link will be on our website too. But we created a shopping list for Fresh Meals on Wheels of Sheboygan County. So you can just buy items and have it sent directly to us. And most of these are pretty low cost. Again, they're activity books, they're coloring items, they're fidget toys. And so we just created a whole list of items, and then we'll be delivering those to clients, as I said, over the winter. But something kind of fun for us.
Awesome. And it looks like, Carrie Jo was able to post in there the monthly food pantry and meal calendar in English and Spanish. They have a link on their website at Salvation Army that provides that resource as well. So if you know anyone who could utilize that calendar of when the pantry hours are, that is in the chat as well.
And one of the things that I know we all talked about and what made us, want to do this panel discussion is that there is a need for food in our community. We definitely have food insecure individuals and families, and we don't necessarily always see it. Again, we live in a prideful community, and help is needed. And by reaching out to different organizations and sending people our way or helping with donations, you're making a bigger impact than you possibly realize. To deliver the meals to people and to see their reactions, to see the tears in their eyes when they get the food, to see how happy they are when you get to deliver a special item, whether, it's a book or, we deliver blankets. The joy is just indescribable for both the volunteer and for the person receiving those items. So it's just, the need is way greater than people realize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I'm going to actually pass it over to Kate now to talk a little bit about another way folks can get involved to help support our community. And that's through Harvest for the Hungry, which is next week. So Kate, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yes, sounds good. So next week, Thursday, and what, Caitlin, what is the annual? This is the ninth annual. That's just incredible. So the 9th annual Harvest for the Hungry event, which is really co-hosted, we United Way benefits, but really it's all of these organizations in the boxes that benefit as well. So any funds that are collected, that any of the donations, any profit we make from this amazing event that Kohler Destination puts on every year out of the gratefulness in their hearts, will go to the investments United Way of Sheboygan County makes into food security, which again is Liz at the food bank. It's Allison at Fresh Meals on Wheels. It's all of the different initiatives that we have that support living healthier in Sheboygan County and addressing food instability. So that is next Thursday from 3:30 to 7 p.m., but you have to pre-purchase your take and bake. So they're really doing an amazing job of being no contact, completely safe. It won't be as wonderful as past years where we all get to be together and kind of have that communal sort of feeling of coming together for a great cause. But here we are in COVID-19. And so we need to be safe, and we need to continue to raise funds for these important causes such as food insecurity, but do it in a way that is our best practice. So I hope to see you there. The take and bake sounds amazing. I can't decide how much I want to take and bake, because if anyone who knows me knows that I don't cook, not well. My husband cooks well. I do not. But really just wanted to plug that event and get folks out there because we know it's going to look different. And United Way is working hard. We launched our campaign again this year. That theme is United We Rise, because we know we are stronger when we work together. So wondering if there's any more questions in the chat. Is that?
No, but we do have the information about Harvest for the Hungry and how you can pre-order your Take and Bake is posted in the chat. Orders are due by 5 p.m. on Monday. And then also drive-through scouting for food, October 17th from 8 to noon. So there's a link to that as well. That's a Boy Scout initiative.
And unfortunately, I think they had to also have all the barriers with this pandemic. So we really need folks to step up for the Boy Scouts in that way as they work to collect food items for our community.
Yes.
All right.
And I thought you disappeared, Gina. When somebody left, I was like, where did she go?
No, I'm still here. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions in the chat. So I just want to thank everybody again. I thank our panelists. Thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate the time. I don't know, Kate, do you want to say anything else? Take over.
I look forward to, I just joined the Anti-Hunger Coalition. So I think Liz and Allison referenced that. Meredith is on it. And United Way has always been represented on this coalition and has been a big piece and part of that. But I'm very excited to continue this conversation. We know this is a need. We're going to continue to address as a community of a social sector coming together to look at how do we address shame that sometimes comes with asking for help. It's going to be a continued challenge for all of us to figure out how we can destigmatize asking for help in whatever that means, rental, utilities, food, because challenging times we are in, challenging times remain, and we as a community, we've got lots of ideas and lots of different things coming, and it's just, again, spreading that word. So if you see on social media, we are going to share this recording. We will also likely share some links to this. We have some great resources on our website as well. Another great resource if you're looking for help related to food or any need would be 211. So we always want to promote that as well. They are connected with all of these organizations who then have their information up to date on that website. It's a call center, or you can visit their website. And I know that that has been very helpful for folks. Their numbers have more than tripled as well. I mean, it's just incredible to me when I think of, Meredith, you said 30,000 last summer you fed. And this summer you fed 120,000. This is an issue. So again, I appreciate all of you. So grateful for the work you do. I know the community appreciates you, and that's just our heart to your heart. So thank you.
Thank you.
And in that note, I'll see you all at Harvest for the Hungry, perhaps distanced, and making spirits bright later on.
Thank you.
Yep.
Right around
Thank
the
you,
corner.
everyone.